that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and our good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen.
And I'm looking for can you please?
Honorable members, let me, on behalf of the institution of Parliament, the leadership of Parliament, warmly welcome all of you from the very competitive election season to a Yuletide season. In spite of the fact that you have almost exhausted everything of yours, we still have a duty to perform. And so I warmly welcome you, and together with leadership, we agreed to take just a few items today. And we need the cooperation of all of you to be able to carry these items through. We've had detailed pre-sitting discussion as leaders, but definitely we'll grant you the opportunity to make inputs so that we could finalize this very well. As you know, all is well that ends well. And so this week is quite critical for us to bring to a closure the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana. And so with this, I will proceed to continue with the order paper, and we take it as my welcome remarks. We are far behind schedule, and so we'll proceed straight to item 5, which deals with correction of votes and proceedings and official report. I will start with the correction of votes and proceedings of Friday, 20th December 2024. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, Page 7. Yes, Deputy Minority Leader.
Speaker, I see myself absent on that day. I was here in Parliament, so I think it should be corrected.
Yes, table office, can they take note of that? Page 8. Page 8. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, mine is on page 7. I was present on the 20th, but my name has been added to the absent list. Item number 53.
Yes, table office, kindly take note of that. So page 8. Page 8. Yes, page 8.
Mr. Speaker, I was present as well, but did not sign the attendance. I don't know whether that warrants reason for my absence in the paper. Mr. Speaker.
That's on page 7.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Number?
From T. David. That's number 75. 75, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, noted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Table office, can you take note of that? So we move on to page 9. Page 9. Honorable members, in the absence of any further corrections, the votes and proceedings of the 5th sitting dated Friday, 20th December 2024 is adopted as the true record of proceedings. We move to item 6, business statement for the second week. Chairman, Business Committee. Yes, Deputy Majority Whip. Yes.
Someone here has said it. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of Majority Leader, I want to seek your permission to present the Business Committee report.
I take it that you have the authority of the chairman of the committee to present the report on his behalf.
Yes, please, Mr.
You may
Speaker.
go on. You may go on.
Mr. Speaker, the Business Committee met. I have the authority. So, Mr. Speaker, the Business Committee met this morning and deliberates on the following. And I want to urge the Answer Department to capture the entirety reports as I read the relevant portion. Mr. Speaker, the roll call, the national press statement, and the items A to I, that's the report on budget appropriation or advance on appropriation. And Mr. Speaker, the items as you earlier stated, the third reading of the EPA bill and report on the budget committee, I so submit.
Yes, honorable members, the business report has been presented by the Deputy Majority Whip for and on behalf of the Chairman of the Business Committee, who is the Majority Leader. Any comments? Honorable members, in the absence of any comments, we take it that the business, yes.
Mr. Speaker, I realize from Roman 4 that there are certain reports that the budget committee is supposed to present between the period of January to March 2025. I want to know, without the composition of those committees, we can anticipate the presentation of those reports by the committee, and whether, I'm reading from the business statement.
Yes, honorable members, the business committee report as presented is duly adopted by the House. So we'll be guided by this report as we go along. With this, I will want to the House to be reconstituted into a closed sitting. There's some urgent matter that we have to discuss before we continue with the business of the day. So, honorable members, close sitting, please. Close sitting. Marshal.
Our discussion. You didn't go. No, I just yeah.
Thank you very much for staying with us. You're watching GBC News. Just gone was live feed from the House of Parliament, where the speakers ask members to go into a closed-door meeting before they come back and continue with the day's business. We're expecting to hear from the Finance Minister, Dr. Amin Adam, to bring the first quarter spending of the incoming administration this year. Something that was expected in November, but due to political situation in the country, it wasn't to be until today. And so we're looking forward to it. The speakers asked the House to go into a closed-door meeting. So as when they come back, we'll bring you all that is ongoing in Parliament. Our correspondent, Maurice Ogbete, is on the ground. And so he would also bring us updates on what is going on at the House of Parliament today. Keep watching GBC News. We'll bring you some more when they come through.
Some individuals and business operators continue to find their way out to smuggle in some products into the country.
This is Agona Yakrum, and behind me is a bridge, of course, on the river Accra, which is one of the major rivers within this area.
We'll be in the Savannah region, we'll go to the northeast region, and we will be telling you a lot more about the people's expectation ahead of election 2024.
Get to know more about Bono and Ahafo regions.
Residents of Kambali and Dobile can now heave a sigh of relief following the construction of these culverts, even during the raining season. Reporting for Real Time, Salah Abdul Wahab. Wow.
It is also anticipated that within the next 10 years, Okwasi and its enclave will become self-sustaining, self-reliant economically, socially, with or without gold mining activities.
These children are looking up to God, they are looking up to central government, they are looking up to you and I to have a convenient learning environment for them to be able to rise up to be responsible citizens in this country.
Real Time, your eyes to the regions. Showing on your screens from Monday to Thursday at 11 a.m. and on Fridays at 1 p.m.
Thank you very much for staying with us. We're grateful you did stay. We're still waiting to hear from the Finance Minister, Dr. Amin Adam, who's going to bring us the first quarter budget reading or the mini budget today in Parliament. I mentioned earlier how we're going to also be speaking to some experts to also give us some understanding of the whole thing, especially with the budget or tax waiver element in the business of the House today. We have on the phone Dr. Eric Boachi Yadom, who is a senior lecturer in finance at the UPSA. And thank you very much, Dr. Yadom. Welcome and a happy new year to you. Dr. Eric, can you hear me? Good afternoon and happy new year to you.
Many happy returns.
Wonderful, wonderful. First of all, Dr. Yadom, how would you explain the purpose of a tax waiver and how an economy such as Ghana's stands to benefit from them?
So tax waivers are critical in attracting foreign direct investment. Most international investors look out for the existence of these tax waivers. Number two, tax waivers also support critical sectors of the economy where government think that is challenged, and therefore tax waivers can be used to lure investors in a way into those sectors. So it has a positive impact. However, it has got its own problems. For example, in a country like Ghana that is looking at ways to increase the tax to GDP ratio, which is significantly low. So giving excessive tax waivers can also impact on government fiscal policies, and that you have to be able to balance it in terms of the benefits that the tax waiver will bring and the challenges that it will pose to government fiscal decisions.
So which sectors in Ghana's current economy do you stand to benefit from tax waivers, and why should they though?
Generally, you can see from the data from Ghana Statistical Service that we need a lot of investors in the manufacturing sector. Per the third quarter data, industry grew by around over 10%. But if we interrogate it and disaggregate the growth in the industry, you would see that greater portion of the growth is from mining and quarry. The manufacturing sector growth is less than 1%. And the manufacturing sector stand opportunity or present as opportunity to reduce importation of certain products we can produce locally. It can also help in solving or minimizing our unemployment issues. So if we can give support, tax incentive to those companies in the manufacturing sector, we will see appreciation or tangible growth. So when we say the industry is doing well, we should not overly generalize it. We should interrogate it and see what is contributing to the growth. So the industry has not, manufacturing has not grown to the point that we expect. In every country, like an emerging economy like Ghana, we are expecting that growth in agriculture will influence manufacturing.
Yes.
But here is the case that growth in the agriculture is not really, we don't see the connection in manufacturing, So there's a missing gap that needs to be addressed. And government can use fiscal policies in terms of taxes to be able to revive the dying manufacturing sector. So the growth that we see coming from mining and quarry should not make us think that industry generally is doing well. We need to address the bottlenecks in the manufacturing sector if we are expecting some appreciable growth in that sector.
Dr. Yadom, given what you've just told me and the fact that a lot more of the tax waiver benefactors are in the oil and gas mining sector as opposed to the agriculture sector, do you...
No, I'm not saying that the tax reliefs is to the mining sector. I was just comparing the growth and why government needs to direct attention if there's a need to grant some tax waivers to the manufacturing. But I'm not saying that the greater beneficiary of tax waivers are in the manufacturing sector.
I get you.
In the mining sector.
Now, given the current state of Ghana's economy and the need, the urgent need to raise revenue, do you, from your point of view, think tax waiver should be the way forward in increasing or raising revenue? And wouldn't that in itself create a certain increased budget deficit for government?
Generally, I think I've made that point earlier, that you have to weigh the benefit that the waiver will bring as against what you stand to lose. You can't have it all. And in these policies, in your fiscal policies, and if you want to use tax waiver as an incentive to revamp manufacturing, it should be that the benefit from it will outweigh the loss in government tax revenue.
Right.
For example, government needs to pay workers from its from revenue.
Yeah.
If we're able to revive the manufacturing sector, and the manufacturing sector is able to employ more, especially the private sector, then government will not be burdened with the responsibility of having to employ the larger majority of Ghanaians. So there should be a balance. You ask yourself, this tax waiver I'm granting, how many people can it employ? And if they're able to, if the private sector is able to employ them, how much wage cut or reduction in my wage bill am I going to enjoy as a government? So you have to be able to balance it off, you know. But then we know that some of these tax waivers have more political tone than the benefit or the loss that we may tend to enjoy as a country. So the political dimension of tax waivers should be looked at and properly addressed.
Right.
I mean, so that we will not trade off the revenue just for political gain.
Interesting. You say that, but Dr. Yadom, if you were to advise government, especially on this tax waiver element, what will be your recommended or recommendation for a reform and also some other ways of generating revenue?
I think that Parliament already has a committee that looks into granting of tax waivers. But if we can get an independent body to do this assessment, because tax waiver can really cause fiscal challenges to the government. So if we can have an independent body that will look at, that will assess who really qualify for tax waiver and how much we stand to benefit or lose in terms of the tax waivers, I think it will be to go in the right direction to be able to help government in making this decision, because the political nature or the political undertone of tax waivers usually does not bring us the needed benefits as a country. So in the grand scheme of things, I think there should be an independent body as a second eye to Parliament work in terms of assessment of who qualifies for tax waivers, the benefits and the challenges that are associated with it.
Right. So should elimination entirely be the way forward, or that maybe a reduction in the quantum of revenue allowed in tax waiver should be what we consider?
We cannot eliminate tax waivers entirely, you know, in our development as a country. For example, if government wants to put, let's say, encourage people to go into agriculture, that will demand for, let's say, a huge sums of investment in the agro-processing machines and all that. Government may want to grant some tax waivers. So tax waivers are important. And it's also like specific and directed towards some sectors and some investors in the country. So we cannot, but we can place a ceiling that we cannot grant a tax waiver beyond this margin, let's say 1% or 2%. We can have a conversation and grant a ceiling that when we exhaust a tax waiver for a particular fiscal year, we will not go beyond it. You know. So there should be a comprehensive discussion for us to be able to place a ceiling on how much government can grant as tax waivers. It will also reduce the political element in tax waivers, granting of tax waivers.
Now, on the issue of who benefits, how equitable do you think this tax waiver thing has been to small and medium scale businesses in Ghana compared to the industries such as oil and gas and mining? Yes,
the output of the SME sector can tell us if tax waivers have been granted and what effect has it had on these SMEs.
Okay.
We know the struggles of SMEs. I mean, and instead of, I would rather think, instead of selecting even few companies and granting them tax waivers, we can have an overall tax. We can look at overall tax regime and try to bring the company taxes that they pay down to encourage them. I mean, in terms of their activities. You see, when you grant, when taxes are too much, it ends up eating capital of these SMEs. The money that they could have plowed back or reinvested, if a huge proportion goes in the form of direct taxes and other taxes on their input, then you are eating into their capital. And there's a need for these companies to be well resourced to encourage investment. So I think that relative to the mining sector, we have not paid enough attention to the SMEs. That is why they are struggling and their growth. When you look at the manufacturing component, it's less than 1% per the GSS headquarter report in 2024.
Now, as a condition precedent to a tax waiver, companies are expected or required to create employment, and if they're already doing so, increase the uptake or take on of people in employment. Now, what happens if the term of a tax waiver expires?
So we have had cases where these multinationals come and operate to the period of the tax waivers, and afterwards they pack and leave. I mean, you can't hold them down to continue being there. That is why we need to have a general assessment or a general view on how tax waivers are granted. And I mentioned that we may need an independent, a second eye to help Parliament in terms of the assessment. So if a company has a tax waiver moratorium for, let's say, 5 years or 6 years, after the 6 years, they have the option of leaving. I mean, but there can be, we can include clauses to bind them to continue to operate.
Right.
But you can also force a private man to be in business if the person is incurring losses.
Right.
You know? So I think I go back to my point I mentioned earlier, that we have to look at the general tax system to make it convenient. Assuming there's a good tax environment for every business to operate, then there will be no need for us to be selective in terms of granting a tax waiver to company A or company B. So for us to keep talking and keep coming back to tax waivers, it means that our general tax structure needs to be looked at, and that there are some level of taxes that need to come down. For example, if you look at Mauritius average tax that companies pay is less than 15%. You know, whilst we are doing about 2 times of what they have, what they are doing, and companies look favorably into those countries. You know, so we can also use taxes as an incentive. The reason why our tax rate looks high is that few companies or few individuals that pay direct taxes are already getting. So government is afraid in bringing the tax rates down for all companies, and so therefore they need to be selective. But I should say there are 2 ways that government can raise revenue. Number 1, burden or charge more taxes on those that are currently paying. Or number 2, reduce the tax rate and broaden the base. We keep saying broadening the base. We can broaden the base if we have a stable business environment for businesses to continue to operate. You can say from the Registrar General, companies that are closing down every now and then, companies that cannot operate beyond 4 years because the macroeconomic environment is not conducive for such businesses. I mean, if we create that environment that businesses can thrive and do well,
Yeah.
then we will have a number of companies who will be paying taxes. There will be a need for us to bring the tax rates down, and we wouldn't be here to be talking about tax waivers every day.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So it is important that we look at the general tax system of the country.
Dr. Yadom, let me take you back just about a comment or two ago. You mentioned at some point where some companies take advantage of the system, and so the system is subject to abuse in that sense, in that they set up and after the term of a tax waiver, they fold up and they go away. On the one hand, it is because the environment isn't conducive for them to continue. But on the other hand is where they find a loophole within the law, and so they go, rebrand, come back and start up as a different, or under a different umbrella. How do we ensure that this abuse doesn't continue?
Then again, the government or the leaders know this game that internationals, but some of these companies, they see as an international company. When you unveil it, when you go behind, you will see there are some local or some, to say, a political element in there. If we can be sincere to ourselves, you know, that we will not grant a tax policy or a waiver to a company that has rebranded, whatever, whether by way of shareholders or directors or investors, if we can find out, do a due diligence. That is why I keep saying that we may need a second eye to help Parliament in doing this work, an independent body to issue a report before some of these tax waivers are granted. Because if the company has gone to rebrand, I think there's a way to find out who are the investors, who are the shareholders, who are the directors, and the business community globally. I mean, it's now a global village, and we can know who is doing what. So we have to have an independent eyes looking at how tax waivers are granted, and to minimize the extent to which multinationals are exploiting our tax system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I am Dr. Yadom. I'm going to have to let you go. We're really very grateful for your contribution and also education. Before you leave us, what will be your final words?
I will say that the new government has two things. Number one, opportunities. What are the opportunities? The new government is inheriting an economy that has the potential to grow in the excess of 5% per annum. What are the challenges? The challenges will be, how do you make this growth reflect in the average lives? So we will expect that the rate of the government will put in policies to bring down inflation, so that the average Ghanaian, the cost of living will come down for the average Ghanaian. Another thing our advisors government, the incoming government, is the implementation of 24-hour economy. Yes, it has the opportunity to create jobs, but across the world, we know that 24-hour economy is more viable in the cities. In Ghana, we are expecting, if the 24-hour economy is implemented, there could be a rural-urban migration. So government should ensure that there's an equitable distribution of that policy, so that it will stop those from the villages from moving into the city, like leveraging and expanding the 1D, 1F, so that development can go into the villages.
Right.
Another impact that the 24-hour economy may have, if not properly thought through, is increasing government wage bill. Already, the government is burdened with paying high salaries. Now, if we do not look at the 24-hour economy properly, you may end up duplicating effort by slicing jobs. A job that one person would do is sliced for 3 people without a proper value addition, without adding anything. I mean, so government should think through, especially in the public sector, when implementing the 24-hour economy. I should say the private sector can be a driver for this 24-hour economy, because a private man will not close up when people are lined up to buy. It is a byproduct of a viable economy. So we are encouraging the government to think through his flagship program and ensure that it does not make us worse off. You see, you may be forced to implement a program because it was for campaign message. But then the discussion should be extensive enough and look at the pros and cons and how you can mitigate the possible negative impact on the national affairs. But I wish the president all the best, and we hope that he takes the best decision in the interest of Ghana. Thank you very much for having me.
Fantastic speaking to you. Dr. Eric Boachi Iadom is a senior lecturer in finance at the UPSA and has expressed such fantastic views and also advised incoming government in the way to go in order to make sure that not only is the 24-hour economy a game changer or going to be a game changer, but it must be equitably rolled out so that it would not encourage a certain rural-urban migration for nothing. Already, if you drive around the Kwame Nkrumah interchange heading towards the Obechebilamte Circle or the New Times Corporation, you see a huge number of young, very able-bodied young men and women who's migrated in the search of jobs in Accra, and arriving in Accra finding out it isn't as they expected or anticipated, and because of that they find themselves rough sleeping, and they've turned the underparts of the overhead bridges into a home. That is really a very difficult one and a very sad sight to behold. Going forward, information reaching us has it that Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam set to present expenditure in advance of appropriation for 2025. This is going to be done in camera, and so we're not going to have him live with us. It'll be done in camera, i.e. it'll be done behind closed doors. He will just lay the document and not continue any further from there. And so on that note, I will have to bid you goodbye. My name, as always, has been Darrell Alantego. You've been watching GBC News, and keep watching GBC News. That would be brought to you by all means. Thank you very much for staying with us.
There are strong women whose stories teach us perseverance, logic, decisiveness, and self-confidence. Being strong is not just about physical abilities, but also emotional, intellectual, and mental strength. Women's Voice is a platform to hear and share stories to encourage women and girls. Women are the real architects of society. It is they who provide the foundation of power, grace, wisdom, justice, creativity, and hope. Join us live every Monday at 4 p.m. on GBC News and GTV, Wednesdays live at 4 p.m. on GBC News and a repeat on Saturdays at 4 p.m. on GBC News and Sundays at 3 p.m. also on GBC News. Women's Voice. No one can make you inferior without your consent.
Some individuals and business operators continue to find their way out to smuggle in some products into the country.
This is Agona Yakub, and behind me is a bridge, of course, on the river Accra, which is one of the major rivers within this area.
We'll be in the Savannah region, we'll go to the northeast region, and we will be telling you a lot more about the people's expectation ahead of election 2024.
Get to know more about Bono and Ahafo regions.
Residents of Kambali and Dobile can now heave a sigh of relief following the construction of this culvert, even during the raining season. Reporting for Real Time, Salah Abdul Wahab. Wow.
It is also anticipated that within the next 10 years, Okwasi and its enclave will become self-sustaining, self-reliant, economically, socially, with or without gold mining activities.
These children are looking up to God, they are looking up to central government, they are looking up to you and I to have a convenient learning environment for them to be able to rise up to be responsible citizens in this country.
Real Time, your eyes to the regions. Showing on your screens from Monday to Thursday at 11 a.m. and on Fridays at 1 p.m.
festive season, step into a world of luxury and joy at Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel, Accra. Experience the warmth of Christmas in our elegantly decorated lobby, where every corner is filled with the magic of the season. Indulge in the finest delicacies crafted by our chefs at Phoenix Restaurant, a feast to make your holiday unforgettable. Unwind in style at our serene poolside, where the festive spirit meets relaxation.
This year, Movenpick, as usual, has lined up wonderful packages for families. On the eve of Christmas, many individuals will have the opportunity of enjoying fine dining with us. And also on 31st night, something that nobody does in the city. We will be able to count down by our poolside 2024 into 2025. The fireworks promises to be wonderful as usual, where families will have the wonderful opportunity of watching and having their countdown to midnight with the wonderful fireworks. So at Movenpick, this year we promise you nothing but the best.
Stay in comfort and wake up to the joy of Christmas in our luxurious rooms and suites. Create lasting memories with our family-friendly activities designed to bring smiles to all.
From all of us at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel during this special festive season,
we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Afushapo.
State of the Nation Address, showing live at 10 a.m.
Hello, very good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here on GBC News and News and Governance Channel 4 News Hour at 2. I am Rahmatu Mahmoud Jawanda. Stay tuned with us as we bring you updates in and around the country and some other parts of the world. Let's go over to Parliament, where my colleague Maurice Ogbete is standing by to bring us updates on the presentation of the mini budget by the Finance Minister. Hello, Maurice. Good afternoon, if you can hear me. Hello, good afternoon, Maurice.
This is correct.
Maurice, if you can hear me, what's the latest update?
All right, good afternoon. We're coming to you from Parliament. Parliament, not too long ago, went into a conclave, and so media men outside the chamber. So, as we told you in the morning, there are two major items that are going to be discussed on the floor of Parliament today. Already, that has been presented and laid. So we're talking about the expenditure in appropriation in advance, which is supposed to give authorization to the incoming government to spend for the first 3 months of the year. So that's an appropriation, which is supposed to be approved by the House. The Finance Minister is not going to be doing a full presentation as we see in major budget presentations. He's going to lay the appropriation, which will be approved to ensure that there is continuity in government in the next 3 months. This particular exercise was supposed to be done in November. It's not happened because of some back and forth in Parliament and some level of consultations from both sides of the House. But quickly, let me bring in our parliamentary correspondent. He understands the issues in the House better. Good afternoon to you, Augustus. So we've seen Parliament, go into that closed door meeting.
So closed sitting.
Closed sitting. Even before that, they presented the main key issues that we're going to be discussing today. Can you take us through?
So per the order paper today, the House has some papers that will be presented. Key among them, like you said, is the expenditure in advance of appropriation. So the format is going to be this. The minister will come, it's a paper, so the minister will just bow and present it. Then the speaker will refer it to the budget committee. And the budget committee is going to work on the expenditure in advance of appropriation. And then they will come and present their report. So it is in the budget committee's presentation of the report that we might get a bit of the nitty-gritties of what is the content of the 68.1 billion Ghana cedis that government is seeking to get. After that, then there will be a bit of debate on it, and then the House would approve.
All that's going to happen today? The debate?
It's supposed to be done today. Per the order paper is to be done today. So we are hoping, and because normally it's not elapsed 48 hours doesn't have to elapse before the debate is done. So I'm sure in the within the time frame we have, they are going to do that today. Also, per the order paper, there is also supposed to be a committee of the whole report. A committee of the whole ostensibly is the sitting of Parliament itself with the Speaker chairing, but not in a formal sitting. It's like in a business sitting. The committee of the whole has done a report on the presidential committees on emoluments for Article 71 office holders, and that report is in respect to the executive and the judiciary. So that report too has been tabled to be done today. What we are not sure of is whether in the presentation of that report it will also be a closed sitting like we are all, because the closed sitting that is happening now, we don't know the agenda of it. So I mean, most likely that might be what they are looking at, the emoluments for the Article 71 office holders. And then also in the morning we did intimate that there is also the Environmental Protection Agency bill. We see it on the order paper today. So most likely the third reading of it would also be done.
So in the morning we were talking about the fact that the presentation of the appropriation in advance was supposed to be done in November. but that didn't happen. Exactly what has been the issues?
No, so like we alluded to, they said it was ready to be presented, but then they had to fine-tune some of the issues, probably because we're heading towards an election, and so there were some nitty-gritty things that to be done. Even after that, still even after the election, because of the work of the transition team, some of the issues were still ironed out before the we spoke to Honorable Ahmed earlier on, and he noted that even as at November, the majority leader had that, but they had to look at some pertinent issues in it before they handle it.
Yeah. Right, so we're still here in Parliament. As I said, the major issue for discussion really is that appropriation, which is supposed to be approved for the next 3 months of the year 2025. The NDC government, when they take over, will be presenting a major budget in March, which will cover the rest of the year, and then another one in November for the following year. And so basically, the finance minister, any moment from now, when Parliament, resumes open sitting, he'll be presenting that document, which will help the NDC government, spend in the next 3 months. So basically, I mean, that's the hot issue for discussion in Parliament. We'll hand over to you in the studio whilst we monitor the proceeding and the process here in Parliament. Over to you.
Thank you so much. That was Maurice Ogbete with that update from Parliament. Still in Parliament, the Planning Committee for the dissolution of the 8th Parliament and inauguration of the 9th Parliament has assured of a smooth and peaceful democratic process. Addressing the media on Thursday, the Deputy Coordinator for the Dissolution and Inauguration Committee and Deputy Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Camilo Puaman, emphasized the need to strengthen the foundation of Ghana's democracy. Chairperson for the Planning Committee, Madam Gifty Trum Ampofo, said they are collaborating with relevant stakeholders to ensure the election of the Speaker is conducted fairly and transparently. The 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic will be officially dissolved on Monday, January 6th, 2025, with elected members of the 9th Parliament expected to convene at 11 p.m. to elect a Speaker and 2 deputies.
I must emphasize that this transition marks not merely a procedural change, but a reaffirmation of our values and aspirations that unite us as a people. It is integral to our democratic journey, providing an opportunity for reflection, renewal, commitment to the principles of governance enshrined in our 1992 Constitution. It is in this spirit of unity and purpose that we will approach the forthcoming transition, confident in its potential to strengthen our democracy, deepen our collective resolve to dutifully represent the good people of Ghana.
The 2024 elections underscores the strength of our democracy and the steadfast commitment of Ghanaians to shape their governance. This remarkable participation is a testament to the resilience of our democratic institutions and the pivotal role of civic engagement. The Transition Committee, ladies and gentlemen, was established with a clear mandate to facilitate an orderly transition from the 8th to the 9th Parliament. The committee, comprising members of Parliament and officers of the Parliamentary Service, has been working assiduously to fulfill this mandate while adhering to the principles of transparency, integrity, and respect for democratic norms. As a chair of the committee, I am pleased to report that we are firmly on track to achieve a seamless transition of power. As we move forward, allow me to outline some key milestones in the dissolution and inauguration process. 1. The election of the Speaker of Parliament. This is scheduled for January 6th, 2025. This election is a pivotal moment as it will set the tone for legislative leadership in the upcoming term. We are actively collaborating with all relevant stakeholders to ensure that this process is conducted fairly and transparently. 2, presidential inauguration. The presidential inauguration, scheduled for January 7, 2025, will not only mark the beginning of a new chapter in our
conspicuous display of their accreditation tag will not be allowed into any of the event spaces. She emphasized that this rule has already been enforced, urging all journalists to ensure they are properly accredited and display their tags at all times.
First of all, let me reiterate that anybody covering any event here without a conspicuous display of your tag accreditation will not be allowed into any of the spaces. And the Marshal this morning has already started enforcing that. So please, colleagues, help us to help you. Let us all be properly accredited and to show our accreditation. Point number 1. Point number 2, we know the ethics that cover journalism and broadcast journalism and even print journalism. I beg you, let's please adhere to those principles. Truthfulness, timeliness, adequacy of information, all those things are relevant. But also, this is a house of rules and regulations. Let us abide by those to avoid the bottlenecks that come with the collaboration between security and the media. Our doors are open. If you have any questions, inquiries, you can always reach out to us through our media relations department or through the clerk's office, and we'll be more than happy to assist you.
The Visit Ranking Member for Works and Housing Committee of Parliament, Mr. Vincent Opoasamwa, says the incoming NDC government will review the contract awarded to Kwam LMI Consortium on the Saglemi Affordable Housing Project. Speaking to journalists during a visit to the site, the Dorman West MP emphasized that the committee is unaware of the terms of the contract awarded. The Works and Housing Committee of Parliament were at Saglemi to conduct an on-site assessment of the affordable housing project following a recent fire outbreak.
I just want to put on record that no document in relation to the project has been banked, as we've been told by the contractor, and that nobody came in to set the place on fire. It was the contractor whilst going through the main building. It just affected some few places. I would have wished that whilst here, there will be people already living in here. I mean, as for the legalities and other matters, I think we can, as a committee, we can sit and talk about it. But anybody who gets here and sees what I'm seeing now, obviously will not be happy. And it's my hope that the next government coming will finish this project for people to live in.
The quality of work that was handed over to NPP administration in 2017, we can't say same now. A review is very important. You know, once NDC we mention review, NPP will tell you, oh, yeah, we don't want to cancel it. But you all know review is not cancelling. At least we look at the pros and cons of the agreement, and if it will near to the benefit of the public, we'll go ahead and we execute it. This government has also started a lot of these projects all over the place, and I'm only hopeful that our administration will not allow those structures to suffer what Saglemi has gone through.
In the early hours of Thursday, January 2, 2025, a massive fire erupted at the Kantamanto market, causing significant damage to countless shops and properties. The Ghana National Fire Service has brought the blaze under control and put measures in place to prevent any further destruction.
We are currently at the Kantamanto market, where fire has ravaged the market. The fire outbreak, which started exactly 1 a.m., has destroyed numerous shops, causing extensive damage. 13 fire tenders were deployed to bring the blaze under control. Fighters are still on the grounds, making sure that they bring the situation under control to prevent further damages.
The fire tore through shops and stores, leaving a lot of destruction in its wake. The fire service dispatched 13 fire tenders to the area to bring the situation under control. The public relations officer of the Ghana National Fire Service, ADO1 Alex Kinoti, said officers at their station near the market noticed a column of smoke billowing skywards and promptly proceeded to the scene.
At the end of the day, we had 13 fire tenders. Spanning from Tema and then Spintex and almost all the tenders in Accra. I think with the exception of the tender at Tanya and Ajinkotuku, all other tenders, including the one at Flagstaff House and Parliament, are all here fighting the fire.
According to ADO1 Note, over 100 shops have been affected by the fire.
By 1:20, our team were here and then they got to fighting the fire. The fire could have been worse. We realized that this building has been salvaged. A lot more, the fire could have spread to all these buildings, even the bank, and we could have had a much bigger disaster on our hands. So we had to prioritize saving the unaffected structures or unaffected buildings.
He confirmed that the fire is now under control and no casualties have been recorded.
There was no casualty, civilian casualty, but one of our officers got injured. You know, he dislocated his shoulder and is receiving medical care. But other than that, the civilians, the shop owners, nobody got injured.
He advised traders to prioritize fire safety to prevent future occurrences.
The kind of fumes or smoke is very toxic. So they being there, subjecting themselves, even with we fire of fighters, we've been coughing. So if we are trained. And so you, the person that's not trained, you know, and being in the smoke like that, you're putting yourself in harm's way. So
some traders shared their distressing experiences, recounting the extent of their losses.
Every year, before 31st, I did a first in the year. And you might happy me. Ya John say 2 o'clock in the yam score. Ya by any man schedule by us all and didi. Ya haya ne bodon komi nti mo pamu ya kura na ye nko ene no china kan
adama fa ba kwese ma fa ba kwese yo nti mo mbra mu maya na eden so ya we ya to kanta de anu odin si da bia ti esramo mu awati mo mbra na mmeka bi maya se ne ba ya mo be jaye na ya tan ha because ya about time
Monday for 5 days until Tuesday na mi try back e ka 4 Nina, I'm a single parent. Bear one moon, I'm a hash and by. A banana sending in ash, Bibia and Naho. Mimunia may, there's one I yet go. I use you. Nibia, just rabbi and say, oh, my boy, yes, I know.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation as authorities work to determine its source and fully assess the damage. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Vice President and patron of the Ghana Lepers Aid, started the new year by hosting a lunch for cured lepers from the Weija Leprosarium at his cantonment residence. The gesture was not just about providing a meal, but about breaking social barriers and showing that people with leprosy deserve love, respect, and dignity. By opening his home to them, Dr. Bawumia and his wife, Samira Bawumia, sent a message that these individuals are not outcasts, but rather valued members of society. The act of kindness is a testament to their commitment to promoting inclusivity and challenging the stigma surrounding leprosy.
It started in 2017 when Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia hosted lunch for cured lepers at his official residence at Cantonment in Accra. This was the beginning of a beautiful relationship between the Vice President and the leper community, with the second family consistently supporting them over the years. The annual New Year's lunch at his residence has become a tradition aimed at sending a powerful message that lepers are an integral part of society and deserve everyone's support. By sharing a meal and interacting with them, Dr. Bawumia and his family are proving to all that cured lepers are not harmful. As he prepares to leave his official residence, the Vice President is hosting the lepers one last time. A gesture he believes is only fitting since he opened his house to them in 2017. This selfless act is a testament to his commitment to promoting inclusivity and challenging the stigma surrounding leprosy, a cause he has been passionate about for years, as evident from his surprise visit and donations to the Weija Leprosarium.
The housewarming for this residence was with my friends here from the Weija Leprosarium. That is how we opened the house. 8 years later, we are leaving the house, and it is the new year. And so the best way is to come back with you to thank God for the blessings he has given us for the last 8 years.
Founder of Lepers Aid Committee, Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, was grateful to Dr. Baumia and his family on behalf of the cured lepers.
I want to say thank you. Your kindness and your love, oh my goodness, what could I do? You've been such a blessing to us. So say thank you. Give me a big hug, give me a big hug, a big hug.
Dr. Baumia assured them of his continued support to all the leprosariums in Ghana to show love and affection to the lepers, because the biggest disease today is not leprosy or tuberculosis, but rather the feeling of being unwanted.
That was a beautiful atmosphere there. It's been over 50 years since he set foot in Ghana as a priest of the Catholic Church. Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, who is also in charge of the Weija Leprosarium, says he has never looked back on a mission to serve God and humanity. As he champions the plight of cured lepers, his call has been for all to accept and support cured lepers rather than stigmatize and neglect them. These were his words when a philanthropist and medical practitioner from the United States visited the leprosarium to share some items with inmates.
As he shared horrifying stories of persons living with leprosy and cured lepers, Reverend Father Campbell says stigma of such persons will never go away in the Ghanaian society. These are people he has loved and cared for over 30 years at the Weija Leprosarium. His greatest joy is to see them happy and well taken care of.
People don't realize, the more you give, the more you get back. The happiest people today are not the people with money. It's not money. It's contentment, fulfillment. They feel when you want to serve somebody, you want to help somebody.
With the help of philanthropists and benevolent organizations, the Weija Leprosarium is able to cater for the number of lepers, some cured and others on medication. The home for the cured lepers currently has 4 nurses to take care of the inmates. They are also given hot meals daily. These have been possible through the benevolence of organizations and individuals. And in the spirit of giving this season, a philanthropist who is a medical director at the Vista Medical Associates in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, Dr. Kofi Safo and his family visited the leprosarium to share some gifts with the inmates.
They try to do something, and that inspires us, it serves as a source of inspiration for us. Even people with severe disability are doing something to help themselves. How much more we?
Reverend Father Campbell was grateful for the gesture and encouraged all to continue supporting the leprosarium.
The Junction Mall at Nungwa Police Barrier had its share of holiday shoppers and merrymakers in the festive season. There was a spillover on the 1st of January 2025. JPC News captured the mood of patrons enjoying the post-crossover festivities at the mall.
The Junction Mall at the Nungwa Police Barrier has become a magnet for shoppers and fun lovers and has been bursting at the seams this festive season. On the 1st of January 2025, however, some of the regular visitors to the mall keeping the crowd at a controllable level. It attracted families and friends from far and near. The atmosphere was perfect for many to unwind and have fun. A lively music set the tone for dancing, while others explored different activities such as shopping and capturing memorable moments with cameras. Children were treated to face painting and playground adventures. Long queues for playground tickets reflected the enthusiasm of families eager to make the most of the festive season. GBC News caught up with some shoppers to hear their thoughts and experiences during the season.
It's been tiring and nice and enjoyable too. We only go out during festive seasons, so it's like a tradition in Ghana.
I came here with my family. We are here, as you can see. We came here to do one or two things, yes, just to make the children happy for the new year.
In an interview with GBC News, Francis Jeremy, a face painting artist, spoke of how he fared working during the festive season.
I think I've been doing this for the past 8 years now, so I know where to hit and where not to hit since customers are coming. And you should know the customer's favorite. So the favorite is making me reduce the numbers. So that's what you can see right now.
Drivers are virtually indispensable during festive occasions, ensuring merrymakers reach their destinations safely. One driver spoke of how business was doing.
It's only festive season. At normal days, sometimes things doesn't move the way we want it. For yesterday, I worked like 700 cities. Yeah, for physical cash.
And do you make that sales on a normal day?
No, it's not like that.
Some individuals and business operators continue to find their way out to smuggle in some products into the country.
This is Agona Yakub, and behind me is a bridge, of course, on the river Accra, which is one of the major rivers within this area.
So we'll be in the Savannah region, we'll go to the northeast region, and we will be telling you a lot more about the people's expectation ahead of election 2024.
Get to know more about Bono and Ahafo regions.
Residents of Kambali and Dobili can now heave a sigh of relief following the construction of these culverts, even during the raining season. Reporting for Real Time, Salah Abdul Wahab. Wow.
It is also anticipated that within the next 10 years, Okwasi and its enclave will become self-sustaining, self-reliant economically, socially, with or without gold mining activities.
These children are looking up to God, they are looking up to central government, they are looking up to you and I to have a convenient learning environment for them to be able to rise up to be responsible citizens in this country.
Real Time, your eyes to the regions. Showing on your screens from Monday to Thursday at 11 a.m. and on Fridays at 1 p.m.
State of the Nation Address, showing live at 10 a.m.
Welcome to the business segment. A weak cedi and a rise in cost of transportation drove the cost of meat last year. As the year begins, dealers in livestock are appealing to the new government to prioritize stability of the cedi. Appreciable percentage of Ghana's livestock need is imported from neighboring Burkina Faso, and Ivory Coast, with the current 1 cedi to 42.94 CFA franc exchange rate. The butchers say the meat business has been a challenging one.
The rising cost of meat has become a pressing issue as the new year begins, impacting both traders and consumers. At the heart of the problem is a weak Ghana cedi, which Hamza Mohammed, a butcher at Kaneshi, says erodes profits and capital. According to him, livestock is sold to buyers from Ivory Coast at higher prices due to a strong CFA franc. The situation, he explained, poses a challenge to the business.
Côte d'Ivoire, they are bringing their CFA to buy our cows and sheep and goats. So the CFA has made the cedi decrease and the prices of the goods has gone up.
Suleiman Omar, chairman of the Kaneshi Butchers Association, shared a similar concern. He said 2024 was much tougher than 2023 as the high prices reduced the demand for goat meat. Many customers, according to the traders, are now opting for poultry instead, which they find more affordable.
Because they say 1.35 upon chair 45. Nunina currency because they say San and trade you call Côte d'Ivoire Ecoton. Ebra, would you call the Côte d'Ivoire Ubeniano high chair because they sikanu of my
Speaking off camera, some food vendors and chop bar operators complained that the high price of meat is affecting their bottom line. They explained that increased cost makes it difficult to prepare and sell food at reasonable prices. Many are calling on the incoming government to take action and bring relief to struggling businesses and households.
We'll be back shortly after this break. Don't go away.
State of the Nation Address, showing live at 10 a.m.
There are strong women whose stories teach us perseverance, logic, decisiveness, and self-confidence. Being strong is not just about physical abilities, but also emotional, intellectual, and mental strength. Women's Voice is a platform to hear and share stories to encourage women and girls. Women are the real architects of society. It is they who provide the foundation of power, grace, wisdom, justice, creativity, and hope. Join us live every Monday at 4 p.m. on GBC News and GTV, Wednesdays live at 4 p.m. on GBC News and a repeat on Saturdays at 4 p.m. on GBC News and Sundays at 3 p.m. also on GBC News. Women's Voice. No one can make you inferior without your consent.
Welcome back. In some news across our borders, Pope Francis, as addressing the faithfuls in St. Peter's Square, called on leaders of wealthy nations to cancel or reduce the debts of less privileged nations in honor of the Vatican's 2025 Jubilee year, emphasizing the need for global solidarity and justice. The Jubilee acts to translate this remission of debt on a social level so that no person, no family, no people is crushed by debts. He encouraged the rulers of countries with a Christian tradition to set a good example by counseling by cancelling or reducing as much as possible debts of the poorest countries. In addition, touching on debt relief, the Pope also voiced his hope for an end to conflict around the world in 2025. Nigeria will now establish a national credit guarantee company in May 2025 to improve access to credit for businesses and individuals, President Bola Tinubu announced on Wednesday. The initiative, part of Tinubu's economic reform agenda, aims to bolster financial inclusion and stimulate economic growth by expanding risk-sharing instruments for financial institutions. The new company will collaborate with key government agencies, including the Bank of Industry, the Nigeria Consumer Credit Corporation, the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Agency, and the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, alongside private sector and multilateral organizations. 8 months ago, Tinubu launched the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation to enhance credit access for employed Nigerians. Police say a gunman has shot dead 12 people, including 2 children, in southern Montenegro. Wednesday, deaths happened inside a restaurant in the 2ndJanuary area following a verbal argument between guests. It was later confirmed that the attacker had killed himself. The government has declared 3 days of national mourning from Thursday, with Prime Minister Milojuk Spajic saying the shooting had shrouded the country in black. The police say the attack began when a man named Alexander Martinovic, 45, opened fire in the restaurant. He killed the owner, members of his own family, and 2 of the restaurant owner's children, aged 10 and 13. The gunman then went on to kill more people at other locations. Let's take a breather. We're back shortly.
State of the Nation Address, showing live at 10 a.m.
Welcome back. Let's talk sports. The Ayawaso Cerebral Palsy football team beat a Division 3 side, Emirates Club, 4-3 in a friendly match. The encounter was one of the high-profile games to get to the team ready for upcoming international matches.
The Kotobabi Wembley Park in Accra was the venue for the test match between the Ayawaso Cerebral Palsy football team and their able counterparts at Division 3 football side Emirates Club. The Nima-based club, founded by Emmanuel Akpabli 4 years ago, is the only cerebral palsy CP football team in Ghana. The club is on a mission to give young people with different types of CP a purpose, provided they have the passion and talent to play. With no functioning CP football league in the country, the team usually trains by engaging disabled lower division teams in friendly matches. The clash was part of the team's preparations for the new year. The end-to-end action ended 4-3 in favor of CP team. The Wendy Foundation presented the Man of the Match award to Emmanuel Beidu, who scored all 4 goals for the Ayawaso team. Emmanuel Beidu promised to work hard to keep his form.
Most times the able ones, they see us to be disabled, so sometimes we are getting closer to them. They like to get you off them, but we are praying to Almighty God that the cooperators out there, they can help us. So where we want to achieve our future too, we can get there. That is all what we are wishing for.
The CEO and coach of the Ayawaso CP football team, Mr. Emmanuel Akpabli, said the team will engage in a lot of activities in the coming year and called for support from individuals and corporate institutions.
We qualify now to be participating to represent Ghana in most tournaments. Now that the terrain has given us the green light, we have decided to come out boldly. Ayawaso CP football, anytime we meet with our counterpart, we score them, not less than 5. But today happens to be one of the toughest days that the team has ever met. And we are promising Ghana to watch out. We have done a lot in the area of most disability sports. This time we are going to go all out for CP football also.
Some players promised working hard to make the final list for the new year.
Most of us are not working, so sometimes we need some small equipment, our boots, our jerseys, and to present millet. Most of us have your manifesto, let's celebrate, so please come to our aid. We need equipment, we need the support, please. We are children. We are going to Africa and to Lagos, which is March. We are praying that God Almighty will help us and so that we get more sponsorship from the government and also for the new elected president, John Dramani Mahama. We have hope that any tournament at all that we attend, we take the cup, we bring the victory, inshallah, and we will not disappoint Ghana. We had a bad game today, and the reason was our players kept underrating because of we were playing with the disabled, I think. So they underrated, they felt too comfortable, and at least it's led out to a loss.
Ghana is one of the few African countries with a CP national team. The long-term goal of the Ghana Cerebral Palsy Football Federation is to qualify for the IFCPF World Cup or the IFCPF World Championships, which are the 2 biggest competitions for CP national teams.
Midyama SC recorded a vital 1-0 home win with Karela United in an outstanding Premier League match on Wednesday, January 1, 2025. Midyama SC remains 7th with 24 points from 14 matches so far in the league log.
Coach Evans Adote's side, Midyama, took the lead on the stroke of halftime as Kofi Asma rose highest to score the only goal of the match at the TNA Stadium in Takwa.
The last time for Midyama.
Karela United failed to break through a solid home backline as they fell to their 7th defeat of the season. The Pride and Passion lie 12th on the league table with 14 points from 15 games.
individuals and business operators continue to find their way out to smuggle in some products into the country.
This is Agona Yakrum, and behind me is a bridge, of course, on the river Accra, which is one of the major rivers within this area.
We'll be in the Savannah region, we'll go to the northeast region, and we will be telling you a lot more about the people's expectation ahead of election 2024.
Get to know more about Bono and Ahafo regions.
Residents of Kambali and Dobile can now heave a sigh of relief following the construction of this culvert, even during the rainy season. Reporting for Real Time, Salah Abdul Wahab. Wow.
It is also anticipated that within the next 10 years, Okwasi and its enclave will become self-sustaining, self-reliant economically, socially, with or without gold mining activities.
These children are looking up to God, they are looking up to central government, they are looking up to you and I to have a convenient learning environment for them to be able to rise up to be responsible citizens in this country.
Real time, your eyes to the regions. Showing on your screens from Monday to Thursday at 11 a.m. and on Fridays at 1 p.m.
State of the Nation Address, showing live at 10 a.m.
Welcome to the entertainment segment. Hair, they say, is a woman's glory because it plays a major role in a woman's beauty and popularity. But the particular hairdo that a woman wears is not just for beauty. It is also a symbol of identity and culture. But with so many options available, the average woman faces a dilemma whether to wear a braid or wig or something else. In the following report, we examine why the recent high demand for braids and wigs. For many women, every special occasion is the perfect time to take on a new look. But when it comes to styling the hair, some women have difficulty making a choice, whether to braid or to wig. For some, braiding is a timeless holiday tradition. For box braids to Senegalese twist, there is a style to suit every taste and preference.
I opted for the dreadlocks, which is low in maintenance because when I undertie it, it takes like 2-3 months before I can undertie it again. The maintenance is good, you don't spend so much money on it.
I normally do it, I can take like 3 months before coming to visit here and have it redone. And while at home too, I can do it at my own style because it's very soft.
Others, like Maranatha, prefer hairstyles that protect their scalp.
I think I've done everything with my hair. I'm tired, so I just decided to go natural.
Normally, when I do the braided one, which is called with the ultra, or I do the perm one, it normally affects my scalp, and so I chose this.
The demand for braids has seen a notable growth in sales for hair vendors and hairstylists.
Not less near more other styles. This year you're better than last year, because last year Nene man shut down Kosusa. Jumanu shut down Marty said the way this time they buy.
A lot of people go for knotless and the passion twist, then spiral braids too.
There has been a great improvement comparing that of this year to last year. I mean, sales has been very, very incredible.
Oh, it's different have styles different. Normal braids, knotless. Oh,
butterfly locks, different. This year, last year.
Others say sales haven't been encouraging.
It's almost fine, but bebre na ebo konro na ma sha omo check. Ntine juma na nsha dan yet to say festive.
For others, weeks offer a quick and easy way to change one's look for the holidays. From sleek and straight to curly and vibrant, there is a wig to match every style while allowing the individual to reinvent their style instantly.
The demand is high. My clients are requesting for luxury hairs, good hairs.
So I'm buying wigs because I just braided. I think this year I braided a lot, so I just want to wear wigs.
While some say they haven't made much profit from sale of their wig caps, Samira thinks otherwise.
Well, so far so good. I would say this year was a bit better than last year. Most of the females wanted to look good. Not only females, males also wanted their partners, their female siblings to also look good. So the patronage was very huge. We really experienced better patronage than last year.
It's a market today as compared to first. Then it's a first. Last year, na market kama this time, I'm buy online. I'm for high congested. I'm for quarantine. But this year, the market that door.
So we sold a lot of wigs last year, but this time around people are going for braids, and what is trending is the French curls. So people are doing a lot of French curls, boho, knotless, colored. Yes, so this time around it's more into braids than the wig.
People bought a lot of wigs last year, but I think this year people are heading towards braids more. I think because maybe the economy is a bit hard, tough, so people are doing braids. They can keep braids for 2 months, 1 month. So it's better just to braids all the way. People will do braids and then maybe they'll carry it on through January, and then maybe February, then they'll change their hairstyles for Valentine's.
So, which is better, braiding or wearing wigs? Ultimately, the decision comes down to personal preference. Wigs and braids will remain popular choices for many women looking to achieve flawless, show-stopping looks. They are driven by the desire for versatility, convenience, or simple wants to try something new. The people of Pusak have climbed